The soil was chemically washed, and then a very good vision was established to create a lake, and at the lake shore, wonderful houses. You can see here the location is just 5 kilometers from the center of Dortmund, connected by a tube and so on. So you see the land prices very quickly in the last years increased. And the idea was, on the one hand side, to develop a new residential zone, but here to give space also for new technology park, because the first technology park of Dortmund, Professor O yesterday mentioned it in his lecture, is nearly full. So that was the first step by creating this technology park in Germany. Now I come to the second point, the energy transition in Germany. Since the Kyoto Protocol has come into effect, German government focused specifically on climate protection to reach the national targets, and the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions from 1990 to 2010 was by 20%. It was achieved yet in 2008, so a little bit earlier. And these measures, this achievement was done by implementing new energy policy, especially supporting renewable energy such as solar power, geothermal energy, wind power, and bioenergy. So it's quite popular. I live in a house with geothermal energy. I have two other second houses with photovoltaic plants, so that has become very popular in Germany in the last couple of years. Here we see the development of greenhouse gas emissions from 1990 to 2008, and we really see here the reduction from Germany quite successful. But if you compare in the global scale with other countries, here's what happened in China. At the same time, not a decrease but an increase. Gives you an impression that what happened in Germany is not very important in the global scale, but we believe that we want to be very far in front of the new energy movement, and to try how new energy technologies can be implemented in society. Here we see some impressions of the electricity generation, especially after 2008, and the energy supply rate on the basis of renewable energies of 20%. So the process is going on. And I should also mention the arguments for renewable energies, not only climate protection, but also the nuclear phase out, which came into effect 2 or 3 years ago, the Fukushima Daejeon disaster, which led to a new discussion in Germany, the first time in German history, parties and red and green parties followed this approach to get rid of nuclear power because of its danger and also nuclear waste. Another argument is also to be a little bit more independent of oil and gas resources and to focus on renewable energies. So the recent trends actually are implementing new energy saving technologies, specifically lithium-ion batteries, thermal, chemical energy savers, also the extension of energy infrastructure, especially in the National Development Plan for Electric Power System, which aims at expanding network of high voltage power lines, has been created. But at the moment we apply so-called transition technologies because we want to get rid of CO2 neutral nuclear power. And that means we need further coal plants, gas steam power plants, which give us additional amount of CO2 emissions. And that has led to the situation what you can see here. That was a decline of CO2 emissions in Germany, but in the last couple of years there's no change. It's quite stable. In the last year even there was a slight increase because of using this transition technologies. So the goal for 2020 you can see is a continuing decrease, and goal 2050 is very ambitious. Nobody knows whether or not we will reach that. Now I come to the specific case of North Rhine-Westphalia, which is very interesting because it's a kind of unique federal state in Germany. What you can see here and not only in terms of energy-related CO2 emission, but also according to other things. But when we look on the energy-related CO2 emission, we see that North Rhine-Westphalia has the highest degree of this emissions. So North Rhine-Westphalia has only 20% of inhabitants of Germany, but produces 33% of emissions. So that is a strange point. The population with nearly 20 million of North Rhine-Westphalia is like Norway, Sweden, and Finland together, but we are responsible in this country for 33% of the emissions. So Germany's climate protection and energy transition policy cannot succeed without North Rhine-Westphalia. North Rhine-Westphalia is the key challenge of climate protection and energy transition and policy in Germany. So a structural change in North Rhine-Westphalia towards a low-carbon society is needed to prevent the disconnection of this specific federal state with all other parts of Germany which have been very successful in the past. So the success in Germany in climate protection was caused by the other federal states, not by North Rhine-Westphalia. So the key question is, how can this process be governed? And that's interesting, the Red and Green Party government of the federal state of North Rhine-Westphalia has put a new climate protection law into force since the beginning of 2013. And the purpose of this law is the determination of climate protection goals, also implementing, monitoring, updating climate protection and adaptation to climate change measures. And one interesting point is that the law pretends to have only public addressees, but we will find some conflicts later. Climate protection goals are defined that there should be a reduction of greenhouse gas emissions in North Rhine-Westphalia until 2020, so it's just in 6 years, by at least 25% compared to 1990. The Kyoto Protocol goal was 20% reduction, which was achieved in Germany yet 2008. So this goal is defined as a kind of low-level threshold, which is very likely to achieve for the government in exceptional case of extreme failures, and therefore could be valuable for political propaganda in the next elections. The reduction of greenhouse gas emissions in North Rhine-Westphalia until 2050, that is another goal, but at least 80% compared to 2090, is a very ambitious goal, which will necessarily have an impact on private economy. But this can be evaluated for the first time in 36 years, so it's the next generation. Hence, this goal can't have any consequences for today's government in North Rhine-Westphalia. It's very clever to put this law in this term. So, the improvement of energy efficiency and renewable energy, which is another goal, there are a lot of federal laws, federal German laws, which are doing exactly this. So we can raise the question, where is the improvement in this sector by this law? So you see there could be some critique, and what is interesting that the implementation of the climate protection goals by the federal state government should be done first by the federal government itself, but also the federal government, the state government can draw up or can create binding concepts to achieve CO2 neutral administration in North Rhine-Westphalia at all. So that includes local authorities, regional authorities, and the federal state authority. But there is no words on the private sector again. But it is hidden behind the topic that the federal state government has to develop a climate protection plan for the whole federal state. And this is quite interesting. Climate protection by other public authorities, which was mentioned. There is a kind of financial compensation for local authorities in accordance with the new climate protection ordinance which will be created. But there is no financial compensation for private persons or private institutions. And therefore it is interesting what will be the content of the climate protection plan. And the climate protection plan, that is very interesting, defines needed measures to achieve climate protection goals corresponding to paragraph 3 of the protection goals 2020 and 2080. So 2050. And that means we have our. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please, next.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rohani. My presentation today is not as structured as Professor Gruehn. I hope I pronounced it correctly. But it will be telling you about who we are, what WAITRO is all about, some of the examples of the activities across the globe that is actually carried out by our members. Okay, this is the title, WAITRO, the Global Innovation Family. The Global Innovation Family is actually our tagline. And perhaps some of you may know what WAITRO is all about, but some may not know what WAITRO is. So it is actually the World Association of Industrial and Technological Research Organizations, having 165 members worldwide in 78 countries. And currently, WAITRO Secretariat is actually hosted by the government of Malaysia. And we actually has finished our term, the third term of the Secretariat, but fortunately, again, it was approved by the government of Malaysia to continue for the fourth term. So let me go through what we are and our mission and goal. We are this is our mission and goal, to be the leading global network of research and technological organizations through collaboration and knowledge sharing for sustainable development. And our goal is to be an enabler for developing action-oriented partnership among member organizations for sustainable development. Right, this is our value proposition: innovative, integrated, multidisciplinary approach to solving grand societal challenges. Right, we are actually independent and non-governmental, not for profit, and we are actually, the association is established about 44 years ago, and we have a special consultative status with the United Nations and its specialized agencies, meaning that we are able to actually participate in any of the activities when invited. And this is our aims and objectives: to encourage and facilitate sharing of research results and technical know-how, promote exchange of experience in research and technology management, to enhance capabilities in management of research and technological organizations. We identify and also promote fields of research or projects suitable for international collaboration, new opportunities and market, and we also promote technological research and capability building among our member organizations. So this is our model of cooperation, where if there are issues, challenges, projects that we would like to actually do, we have RTOs. Here, RTOs meaning that research and technological organizations, members. So if there are any projects or for any project bidding, we will actually be gathering our RTOs both from the developed and developing countries. Then we have our donor organizations, also from industry, to actually address or to actually carry out projects on issues and challenges that we have actually identified. This could be either regional challenges, issues, or it could be any projects that members identified and require assistance. This is what we call the power of collaboration. You know, each and individual organizations, member organizations, may have a specific goal to achieve, or they may have some focus projects, as I mentioned in the earlier. Access to facilities and resources. So some may have that they want to actually work in another lab in another country for specific reasons. Also, we have knowledge and experience. Perhaps I will just go through the next slide where we actually show you some of the activities that we have. These are the areas of collaboration, which is broadly categorized under RTO management, technology transfer, technology for development. And these are some of the areas that we do: management and leadership, benchmarking, and sharing of experiences in R&D. So for technology transfer, we have technology transfer, technology offer and demand using WAITRO web portal. We have workshops on market-driven R&D and fellowship programs. We'll give you some examples later. And RTO technology for development, this includes the EU framework projects, which currently we are actually having one consortium running, training of extension agents and establishing outreach centers. We have one this kind of project in Uganda at one point for the SME outreach centers. We have capability building in RTOs in good lab practices. Okay, for the collaborative projects to address key global regional challenges, these are the areas: poverty alleviation, I'm sure this is the common ones in almost every country, environment, water, food security, health and energy. Support of projects, these are some of the examples of the projects among the WAITRO members we have carried out. One of the projects is poverty. This is just one example, but we have many actually. This is poverty alleviation project in Malaysia, where we have actually our counterpart or co-funder, ASESCO, which is actually analogous to UNESCO, based in Rabat, headquarters in Rabat. So this is one of the projects which we carry out in Malaysia. In fact, we have another one which is also concurrently running at this time. Was carried out in Indonesia as well. So we have our friends from Indonesia here who might actually know LIPI. Yeah, LIPI is our strongest and staunch member within the region. At one point, LIPI was actually the regional focal point for the Asia and the Pacific. So this particular project is actually, well, it looks simple to most of us, but actually for the community who are actually in remote areas where they don't have any electricity, this is one thing, it's a blessing for them. And the reason why we chose this particular site is that, well, we had several sites assessed, but this particular one, we find that the community is actually a community that is actually who loves to learn. And in fact, the person who actually constructed this particular water wheel system for the mini hydro, or micro hydro you call it, is actually just a gardener. And he's, together with his brother, who is actually a teacher, actually borrowed books and tried to read, and they tried to figure out how to do it, to construct this in their village. And when we came in, it's actually more to actually assist them in the efficiency as well as in the safety of the system. This is the water wheel system in Malaysia, but actually in LIPI, in Indonesia actually, where they did in Tasikmalaya, it's actually for Tidrine also project. It's a turbine system actually constructed by LIPI, it's the Institute of Chemicals, Institute of Sciences, LIPI, yes, in Indonesia. So both are actually successful, and both sites are actually, there's no electricity, but when this is actually launched and you know, it's in the news, then later when we found out that we find that poles of electric you know, come in where they actually provide electricity from the government. So this is actually a good way of promoting a community that is actually in a remote area where they do not have the electricity, but eventually the government sees the need and provide them with electricity. Another project is women economic empowerment. This is food security, and it's again our co-founder is ASESCO. This is actually in Nigeria. One of our members, WAITRO members, we call FIRO, or Federal Institution of Industrial Research, is actually assisting the women, the local women, in dissemination of standard food production techniques and the hygiene and the proper way of doing it. Because that will actually not only for local market, but it can also be exported in mind. So this is actually some of the pictures of the project in Nigeria. Another one is actually, which is ongoing right now, is women economic empowerment in Pakistan. This is also again WAITRO process for NRPO of Pakistan. This is actually meant for actually women, single mothers, who have no means of finding a livelihood to actually support their families. So this is actually one of our projects right now, and we hope that it will be completed by the end of this year. Not this year, by the end of this month. And this is another one in Indonesia. This is in actually in Rohani. Yes, Ciparai. This is just launched, and we have completed this particular project this last month, in fact. So this is in a school where we actually believe that knowledge, any knowledge of green technology should be actually start from young. So in this area, not only this particular school, it has like a mini integrated farming also to teach the children, and where there is actually LIPI has also constructed a biogas system here, where all the bio waste from the food as well as the manure from the cattle waste will actually be processed, and the biogas produced will also be used for lighting in some of the housing of the teachers there. Right, going on to a little bit on the high scale, where we have the EU FP7 project on processing of biowaste for sustainable products in developing countries. This is actually led by our European partner, DTI, or Danish Technology Institute. And this is a consortium which we gather our WAITRO members who are able to participate in this. Right now it is still ongoing, and you'll see the consortium of about 11 of our members. And we believe that projects like this actually is a glue to bringing in members together. So we do not stop at this, and we are actually now looking at the Horizon 2020. And we are actually now looking at, through our European partners, we are also trying to gather information and finding partners for the proposals, which the calls are in right now. Fellowship programs, these are for young researchers. Young researchers meaning that those who are actually, not to say just graduated, but perhaps they are already 4 to 5 years, but who has not gone out of their country. So in this case, what we do is, this is not an ongoing thing, but normally it's through negotiation with our ASISCO partner to get some funding, so that we are able to bring the young scientists of our member countries to come together and learn or to have experience in another in a lab in another country. So not only that they learn about technology, but we would actually like them to learn about the culture of that particular country. So the first one, the first recipient at that time was actually, of course, LIPI again in Indonesia. The program is in chemical sciences. Then we have ceramics technology in Gruehn, Malaysia. Ceramics is actually analogous to LIPI, because Standards and Industrial Research Institute of Malaysia. And we are quite strong in ceramics technology here. And we have also tooling and foundry technology, Malaysia. This is all the fellowship programs that we had. And research fellowship program in the field of non-destructive ultrasonic testing and evaluation. This just completed this year. Right, other activities. This is actually in the Caribbean. It's a Caribbean Climate Innovation Center. This is one of the 8 centers in the world. Actually headed by 2 of our members, the Caribbean Industrial Research Institute, or CARIRI for short, and Scientific Research Council, which is in Jamaica. So I'll just breeze through, but later perhaps if you want to know, you will. So this is actually Innovation Center, which is a Caribbean initiative funded by the World Bank and the government of Canada. So they have actually have a proof of concept grant funding competition that was actually for entrepreneurs who have ideas, and is actually also invited to submit applications for innovations in 5 thematic areas, which is again, if you to see in our focus areas, which is there, which is in water and energy. This is the exhibition that is carried out in Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, this is Qingshan Lake Science and Technology City, Daejeon Province, China. We had a huge actually conference of business matching last year in China, where our member, which is currently the regional representative for Asia and Pacific, had a close relationship with the governor of Daejeon and also the Daejeon province. So he actually, together with the Daejeon province, organized this huge business matching conference, and also taking the members, not only the members of WAITRO, but also the business community who are interested, to this place called Qingshan Lake Science and Technology City. And for WAITRO members, the government of Daejeon province is actually, well, I'm pleased to say that if whoever that would like to rent a place here, they would actually be able to fee. Okay, just a brief through. Okay, this is just about Malaysia, and this is Syria, where I came from as well, and I'm supported to WAITRO. And this is talking about a new model that we would like to emulate, and here this is just an excerpt from our Prime Minister. It said that it refers to an institution in Germany. So here, maybe Professor Gruehn would also be able to actually share later about this particular institute, which is happened to be our member as well. It's actually the Fraunhofer model. So this is currently what Syria is trying to emulate, the Fraunhofer model of innovation. So can I just breeze through and later perhaps if there are any questions. And okay, so based on that one, this is what Syria comes up with, but of course this is not, it has to be refined. Okay, so it's just collaboration linkages, and of course catalysts for change, strategy, press team, tutoring, measurement, and that's it. So,
yes, thank you very much. Our approach is very clear. The keyword is NPO, and collaboration, and probably catalyst. Thank you very much.
Excellencies, our major from the South Tangerang, this is Ibu Irene, and ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I would like to share here not really the innovation linkages to the how doing our result from the hard sciences product R&D, like let's say the handphone or something. I would like to share how the innovation here more than how the sociality of the innovation itself from this perspective, especially our countries. Because this is very, very important for us as countries. As you know, this is the Indonesia. I forgot, I'm not putting this as our Indonesian map here, but you can imagine here. Indonesia, its population, is about 250 million inhabitants. This is the fourth biggest democratic countries after first China, India, United States, and Indonesia. And we call our country is not a continent. Our country is the archipelagic countries. Consists of more than 70,000 islands, right? And then we call our country, archipelagic countries, because it's the maritime continent. This is different thing, comparing, let's say, to many countries in the world, like the European or the American something. So, in terms of the geographic location, the population, it is very huge. Can you imagine if we put in our map, our area as Indonesia, to the American, for instance, United States of America, we can our countries coming from the East Coast to the West Coast, countries also for countries. If we put in our countries in Europe, probably from London to Turkey, it's very huge country. So why we are to introduce, this is it's very huge our countries, and we have also have a common advantage, especially we are living in tropical countries who more than 500 languages in terms this is the cultural diversity. This is one of our assets. And another one also is we have is very rich in biodiversity. So we are living with huge countries, with the huge market, with the huge diversity in terms of cultural and natural. This is our assets. So why social innovation? Our title through science technology part in Indonesia democratization. This is very, very limited. So I would like to start with our outline. How from powerful to skillful, and then how next is utility and perception, higher education synchronized, and truthful democracy. Why we putting here our president? Just, this is our president just elected and already inaugurated just last month. But, this is the Time magazine. Putting is a cover for our president. A new hope. I think this is true, probably. Because, this is why we call at the time that this is the new. Because, this is once, I think this is the first, since our country independence. The presidents coming from common people. Can you imagine 5 years or 6 years ago? He just a major city. So I think this is why we have to innovate something in terms of society. So why we or he can get elected or be elected by our party to become the president. This is very, very the new innovation in terms of sociality. How the bottom-up process, we appreciate the process itself in terms of democratization. So, the population replaces the oligarchy. In our country in Asia, we have more than 500 languages. Can you imagine? So many ethnics there. They are usually generated by oligarchy process. There are so many in find something. We call it the kerajaan something. But at the time, our president now coming from the common people. So this is the developers, he is also honest, he is hard worker and something, and he manages of transfer. So I think this is the, if our major excellencies, for instance, of Tamra, is also potentially to become the next president. I hope so. So, if we can put in this kind of innovation, as socialist innovation, I think this is very promising also how to bring science and technology to our countries. So, look, after we call this is a new era, I think call it the order baru, the government run by, this is the top-down process. After 1998 turmoil, this is all the bottom-up process coming there. So from that time till now, we call this is the era for the reformation something. So this is also this very, very important stage for our countries. How the innovation coming not top-down, but also from the bottom-up. So when the power of the academic student, this is 1998, this is also to become the inspiration for another rest of our population. So from the power coming from the oligarch or the authority, and now from the bottom-up process, so we are really need also smarter people than previously. But how the utility and perception about the innovation itself? At the time, before the 1998, we have this very low trust. Of course, in terms of science, technology, or innovation, we have also spending low budget. And then, of course, we have to become the low productivity. So, the perception of the innovation itself, this is the initiate, I think this is for the, this is the 10 years ago when the Minister Khamis became our minister. The principle of innovation is how people doing collaboration. We call this, for instance, this is the triple helix, how interaction between the academician, business communities, the government, and also the communities, probably not only the triple helix, but also quadruple helix something. The point is how the innovation doing collaboration. Yes, the process itself continue with another the Minister of the Technology. This is from the Minister of the Suhardi. This is after our Minister of the Khamis, the Minister of Technology. Their initiative also not only how to collaborate with the academics in this government, but also putting to the region innovation. We collaborate, for instance, this is with the Minister of the Internal Affairs. Because this is, as I said, we are at least 34 provinces or states, and consists of more than 500 cities and districts. So any trees in there, they have special localities, special richness. Locality itself. So we need how to utilize and how to exploit our not only natural but also cultural resources to be produce kind of the product, the manufactured product from the base of natural and cultural itself. So how we call this is the innovation is district government responsibility. So we share not only again, our central government, but how to the innovation derive to the provinces or districts and cities, and how to come from the bottom-up process itself for innovation. Of course, if we are doing R&D and product discovery, invention, innovation, we still have the guaranteed academic freedom. But the point is, the innovation, as our explained before, how to interact between the academician, the business, and the government, and also the communities. So, the innovation is serving the industries, serving the customers, serving the clients, for all of the Arab countries itself as a huge market. So how if we now, I mean, just with the new cabinet, this is we have at the Ministry of Civil and Technology merged with the higher education. This is very, very important for our countries now because this is if we talk about the creativity, the inventor or innovators, this is depend on the human resources. The human resources generally coming from the universities. So any universities in any province, we have it. So if we can generate all of any universities at any provinces to explore and exploit of their natural and cultural resources to give them value added to become the product, this is very potentially to sell not only to our market itself, but also of course to the world. So we need, and very strategically, how we at Ministry of Technology, who previously only doing kind of the policies, but merge with the higher education to become the implementing institution. So I think this is why our country is so big like this, actually countries. I think since 10 years ago, we also already developed so many science and technology parks. At least, the existing more of them is located in Java, but we are in very, very rich countries, in the American continent. We can compare to all of the science that we found to all areas now. So I think this is very also interesting that if we can develop kind of science technology park for at any province in Indonesia, at least we need 34. Or if we also replicate any science technology park for any cities or any districts, at least we need more than 500 science and technology park to all our countries. Very, very huge to exploit and explore our resources based on natural and culture. So I think this is being inviting all of this audience here. Our vision, especially our president's vision now, how the Indonesia to be the axis of maritime in the world, means that how we can develop also in parity the science and technology related to maritime. For instance, the tourism, for the Bahari tourism, this is the marine tourism, the harbor, shipbuilding, and also fisheries and something. So if we can also collaborate with all of the audience coming to our countries, doing some R&D activities, especially science and technology park, who also focus on our maritime activities, I think it's very, 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 very interesting. So I think we have more than 51,000 kilometers in terms of the coastline. Very beautiful. So many islands here in Indonesia. Please, come into our country.
Very much interesting point, important point, culture point. Thank you very much. Now the first speaker comes from Asia, and the new science park organizer.
Mr. Chairman, dear ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Essam Khamis. I'm the Director of City of Scientific Research and Technological Applications in Alexandria, which is the second largest city of Egypt, with inhabitants of 4.1 million, and it's located at the north of the Egypt and extended 32 kilometers on the Mediterranean Sea. It's considered the largest seaport in Egypt, it serves about 80% of the export and import of Egyptian goods. We'll talk today about the Egyptian scientific research strategy and then see, if we have time, impact on the SRTA-City. The vision of the Academy of Scientific Research is that the scientific society capable of presenting applied scientific solutions to society's needs, and the mission reaching knowledge economy through innovation in a competitive atmosphere based on excellence to increase economic growth. And the strategic objectives here: building of scientific and technology base, produce knowledge, innovation, internationally ranking, supporting economic development. What we did: some of our laws, legislations, and programs are issued to achieve high standards of science and technology and innovation in Egypt. So, in 2002, we have law issued, which is number 82, for protection of IP rights, was issued to support the creative value and to encourage technological innovation. 2005, we issued double the monetary value of the state prizes, and as of course incentive for researchers. 2007, the presidential degree issued to establish Science and Technology Development Fund. This is important. STDF to support the scientific research and technological development. 2008, actually what we issued here is the forming of High Council of Scientific Technology. This council board, including the Minister of Higher Education and the Minister of Scientific Research, and the galaxy of Nobel laureates, prominent Egyptian scientists in Egypt and Egyptian people abroad. There are increased funds from STI owing to science and technology development from STDF. 2008, Program for Research and Development and Innovation was established to promote economic growth and international competitiveness of Egypt. In conformity with the main aim of research policy, Egyptian government announced the period of 2007 to 2016 as a decade of science and technology. The purpose of this decade is to enhance scientific cooperation with scientifically advanced countries. So, on 2007, it was the year of science and technology with Germany, followed by Japan, Italy, France, USA, and EU was on 2012. This is the research priority according to the Higher Council of Scientific Research: water desalination, water resources, renewable energy, life science, food, agriculture, ICT, climate change, and the humanities. This is the structure of science and technology innovation. On the top of the pyramid is the Higher Council of Scientific Research, then Ministry of Scientific Research, Academy of Scientific Research and Technology, then the funding agent STDF. We have 124 Egyptian research centers, 12 of them belongs to Ministry of Scientific Research, and the rest belongs to other ministries. We have about 111,000 researchers and scientists, 73% of them from universities, 13 from research institutes, and the rest 13% from industry, our civil community, 94 million inhabitants. R&D input indicators. Monitoring. The rules, which is already for reforming here, leads to these number of publications in scientific indexed journals. We realize that the number increased dramatically after 2008. And the number of citations here is about 660,000, and the H index is 148, which is the bubble shape. The bubble shape from Saimago here, which is the relation between sites per documents and H index, indicates that we have medicine branch, chemistry, biochemistry, and microbiology, all of these topics here, but H index in the range from 90 or something like that to 100, and the citation per documents above 4 or between 4 and 5. The citation publications here through 2005 to 2013 2013, we will find that Egypt got 38 ranking among the 229 countries in the world, so that means it's in the top 16%. So, if we compare Egypt with other countries like Iran, Turkey, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, and Tunis, we will find that, of course, number one here is Iran nowadays, but previously the overall publication was for Turkey. Then Iran actually jumped after 2010, something like that. And Malaysia is increasing, and Egypt as well. But the Egypt is not, the growing is not that high like Malaysia or like Iran. Saudi Arabia, in fact, with intersection with 2013 here and 2014 exceed Egypt and Tunisia in the same level. But if we compare, this is the most important in fact, the citation impact, we will find that we have a moderate, Egypt has a moderate increase in citations, that means the quality of research. It's like Tunisia, in fact, and like Turkey, while in Saudi Arabia and Malaysia and Iran, no, they are actually remarkable increase with time. So we have to look after that. Middle East countries with the period 1996-12, we find that it by the rank number 4 after Turkey, Israel, Iran, and then Egypt. And following the countries, the world is 42 from about 229 countries. On 2013, we found that Egypt ranked 19 out of 182 in the field of pharmacy. That means top 10%. And ranked 20 from 164 in the field of veterinary medicine. That means top 12%. In the field of chemistry, it was on the top 19% or 20%. In the field of material science, is about 20, top 21%. And in the field of energy, 21%. And in the field of dentistry, is top 23%. This is regarding the number of publications. And here we are focusing on certain sciences, and these are our institutes and universities in Egypt, which have citation requirements above 1. For engineering and for biological sciences and for physical and mathematical sciences, we found that the applications during the period 2007-11 for chemistry is the highest now, and then comes the computer science, and then the medical sciences, and then mathematics and physics. I like the shape, which is the cycle, the circles, which indicates the multidisciplinary, knows that we have unique subject and then multidisciplinary, and then we have now the transdisciplinary. We actually encourage to increase these circles, the multidisciplinary, which have more than one subject, and increase the number and the size of them, because the multidisciplinary leading to innovation. Evaluation and monitoring indicated although output is growing, but the impact lags behind. Coming from the citation impact, and accordingly the field with the citation impact is not matching with the growth rate. Accordingly, improvement in Egyptian science and technology are needed. Here is the patents, which is already granted from the Egyptian Patent Office. You will find that it increased until 2012, but on 2013 it increased, the number increased from 634 to about 465. We found that on 2013, no patents come from the universities, was 0%, research centers 4%, individuals 20%, and companies 76%. Another indicator is the number of researchers per million inhabitants. Here, what we found is that Egypt has about 1,350 researchers per inhabitants, which is almost here on 2012. I should mention here that in United States there are about 4,000 inhabitants per million, and other developed countries about 3,600 exactly researchers per million. So we have actually to look after this number as well. The GERD here, which is gross domestic expenditure on research, we found an increase from 8.5 billion pounds to 11.9 billion. That will increase about 16%. This ratio is really very important, the ratio between GRD and GDP, and you find here that it is increased to 0.68 finally. Of course, hopefully it can reach to 1. The impact on the SRTA-City, this is the buildings, the main buildings here of the SRTA-City. The mission, the city is considered the newest, actually, institute in Egypt. Has the presidential degree on 93 to establish 12 research and technology centers, and officially opened on 2000 on 225 acres, 135 acres in them for the science park, managed by a board of trustees headed by the Minister of Scientific Research, and it acts as science park. Okay, now regarding the institutes, which is already established, we have Genetics, Engineering, Biotechnology Research Institute, and Informatic Institute, Advanced Technologies and New Material Research Institute, Arid Land Cultivation Research Institute, and we have Technology Capability Development Center. In addition, we got the approval for the Environmental and Natural Resources Research Institute and Pharmaceutical Fermentation Industry Development Center. We are going actually to establish in the near future Renewable Energy Institute, Laser Research Institute, Fine Chemical Research and Small Scale Industrial Development Center, Engineering Industrial Development Center as well. So, the project, the spin-off project in the science park will be exactly in these 5 or 6 institutes what we have right now. This is the master plan of the SRTA-City. We are now in the stage of getting approval from the Ministry of Housing on this master plan. The scientific buildings here, the housing buildings for all researchers. Number 3 is the 60 different projects, spin-off projects for the science park on 135 acres. Number 2 here is the CCD, concentrated solar power to produce electricity. It's a project with FP7, and this project is to produce, for research in fact, to produce 1 megawatt electricity and to desalinate 250 cubic meters water per day, and a cooling system about 1,000 meters. The funding for this project is 22 million euros. We are now at the stage to getting final approval to start up this mega project in the city. The human resources, what we have right now is about 800 all in all. So we have 115 research staff members, assistants about 120, and the rest coming from technicians and administrators. The main building is for the biotechnology and the oldest one. It contains 6 different departments, latest in genetics and biotechnology. The second institute, Informatic Research Institute, and we have here the dean of the Informatic Research, Dr. Wala, and it contains 5 different departments related to informatics. The third one is Advanced Technology and New Material Research, and we have Dr. Mona here, the dean of this institute, and it contains 5 different departments related to these institutes. And the last one was the Arid Land Latest Cultivation Research Institute, and contains 6 different departments. And we have Technology Capability Development Center here with different workshops. And the research outcome is exactly like that. We have about 800 now scientific papers, 3 of them published in Nature and Science. And you'll find here the increase of the publications with time, following the incentives we mentioned before. And we are keen to make an international cooperation with that kind of publications. Last year we have about 55% of the overall publications with different countries. And this is the specialties, the subject areas of all the publications. You will find that most of them coming from the genetics and biotechnology. The citation with times here, we reach it to 50 or 5,200 something. H index now come 33, indication of the stability and the good and sustainability of the scientific research published in the city. We have 22 granted papers, and we have 19 now pending. Overall, all in all is 41. And in addition, that is most important for us, we have more than 40 prototypes ready for production. And we have projects, about 85 different projects supported from internationally and nationally, with different agents here from Europe, in the States, different places, as you see. This is the scientific awards, national and international. And we have the investment zone. Investment zone is the science park. The government agent agreed to establish the investment zone to promote the location as an ideal destination knowledge-based industries. And from UNESCO, 3 of UNESCO experts come to the SRTA-City on 2007, visit the place and be evaluated, and then mentioned that this is one of the best places to be considered to start up the science park. I would like to mention here that the science park, this one will be the first among the Egyptian universities and research center as well. Okay, UNESCO actually, WTA, become a consortium with an Egyptian consultant bureau there. Both of them are going to develop the science park in SRTA-City to create the 60 different companies in these fields, which is the pharmaceutical, biotechnology, information technology, nanotechnology, renewable energy, advanced technological service center, training center for scientific excellence, and SMEs as well. We did that so far. And here is the first stage, which will start soon, about 1 year or something like that. It will compose of 25 out of the 60 projects. It will start with 2 screening projects from biopharmaceutical, 1 for nanotechnology, and 5 for biotechnology incubators, 9 SMEs, 2 advanced technology services, and 2 training centers, and 2 renewable energy ITs. And this is the design of the building. The first building will be in the SRTA-City. It's administration building, and that contains the incubator. From inside here, this area will be the incubators. And we have, of course, core facilities in SRTA-City is going to serve the institutes, and in the same time the science park, like this one, which is preclinical and clinical research center. It will be the biggest in the Middle East. And we have semi-industrial plants for fermentation, and it reached to up to 300 liters. It is one of the biggest 3 in Egypt. And we have central labs, different central labs, proteomics, stem cells, central, containing a lot of equipment, latest, and all the equipments are mega. So we are now almost ready to go. This is the housing villas for the researchers and buildings. And this is our website. Please visit the website. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, before speakers finish their own report, make clear specific issues and future directions and the keywords to understand each report. So I want to have these several questions.
독일이 왜 비엔나를 선택하고, 그리고 그 프랑스하고는 완전히 다른 길을 가는지 같은 유럽 써 있는 나라에서 그 부분을 좀 말해주세요.
Thank you very much for this interesting question. You are right. Nuclear phase out is not a part of the Kyoto Protocol, but it is a part of, let's say, environmental policy. And this has started in Germany in the 1970s, that some alternative groups, green groups, environmentalists, started to articulate their protest against nuclear power. But that was only a tiny fraction in the German society, 5%, 2% or whatever. And then Germany followed the policy to build one nuclear power plant after another. And at maximum, electricity was produced by nuclear power plants by about 25% to 30% in Germany. While France had much more nuclear power plants. I think there was 95% of the electricity which was created by nuclear power. And despite of this small fraction, this about 30%, the protest in Germany was bigger and bigger, because the key question was what to do with nuclear waste. And Germany is a quite very densely populated country with about 240 persons per square kilometer. And therefore more and more people were afraid of nuclear power. And then you might remember 1987 there was the Chernobyl disaster. And there were also some small disasters in the UK and in Sellafield and in the US. And the German public became more and more sensitive against these issues. And then also the Social Democratic Party, which is one of the big parties in Germany, started to include this in their political program in the 1980s and 90s to get rid of nuclear power. But the conservative parties and liberal parties, they remained in nuclear power. They were very strong until 1998. And then the first time a new government, a red and green government, came into force in Germany, and they decided to go out of nuclear power plant. But then, 7 years later, a new conservative government started and declared, no, we don't want to get out of nuclear power, we go in back. A similar situation what we had in Japan in the last couple of years. But then, then happened the Fukushima Daiichi disaster, and the German public really focused this, what happened there, and said, okay, if such things can happen, nuclear power is not an answer for the future. And we want to get rid of all these nuclear power plants in the very short term of 11 or 12 years. And there was a very big consensus over all parties. The first time conservative politicians also followed this. And this big consensus in Germany led us to the point that we very quickly want to get rid of the nuclear power, while France, French people, they don't care so much on this. So it is probably a part of the environmental movement or the specific attitude to environment that German people would like to be more environmentally friendly than the French people, probably. But there might be also other reasons, economic reasons or something like this, but in Germany that's totally different from France. But we have also other European countries like Austria or Belgium, Switzerland, which follow the way like Germany, or start even earlier than Germany in the case of Austria. So it is not a single phenomenon that Germany goes this up. Thank you.
So actually French people, they don't have a plan B. That is the reason they are hanging there.
Big deal. Yeah, so France has some more potential concerning solar power than Germany, because France has some more potential, for instance, in the sector of solar power than Germany, because France is more located in the south, and so the radiation is stronger and longer than in Germany. But that seems to be a general thing on a global scale, what I observe, what is really amazing, the density of solar power panels increases the more you go to the northern countries. So I have seen in Scotland and in Sweden there's more solar panels than in Iraq or in Jordan or in France. So the efficiency, of course, of such solar panels would be much better if you apply this in southern countries. But there might be different reasons. Some countries have oil. In France, they traditionally have water power partly, but then they decided not to apply this technology and very early moved into nuclear power, probably as a result of recommendation of physicians, scientists in this way, and they said, okay, that could be one good technology. But there was never this type of resistance like in Austria or in Germany or in Belgium against nuclear power.
Wouldn't have an impact on the cost of energy, because nuclear power will be a cheaper source than the alternative energy. And if this is the case, what is the strategy to offset that cost factor?
The one question was concerning alternative in fossil energy types. That is what I mentioned. Traditionally, Germany has brown coal and normal black coal. So that was applied over the last 100 years. And then after World War II, increasingly replaced by oil. So the general situation at the moment is that we have a mixture. We have just about 15 to 20% still nuclear power until 2022. And we have an increasing amount of renewable energies, which will be 25% or something like this if everything goes in the right direction in 2020. But we have still coal. But that is an amazing thing. Because of economic reasons, we have still black coal. But the costs to be able to use this coal are higher than to import cheap coal from Latin America and to ship it, which causes again CO2, because the cost of this coal from Latin America is very low because there are low environmental standards, low social standards. And that is a point where we can see that is a very difficult thing with all these figures concerning different countries. We are living in a global world, so what we need is a solution, a global solution in the long term. And coming to this point, to nuclear power, that is what most countries don't really do, that they include external economic effects, like what was happened in Fukushima Daiichi, or what happened in Ukraine and Chernobyl. Normally, these costs will never be calculated. So there are some enterprises, they only get the cost, the revenue of running the nuclear power plants, but they go bankruptcy when there is a catastrophe. So the damages, the economic damage, the social damage, also health damage for people living in the vicinity of nuclear power plants will not be taken by these nuclear power producers. And that is a point which also is a part of the German philosophy, because we have many decision instruments in our laws, planning, decision instruments and so on, including environmental impact assessment, including cost-benefit analysis. And the Germans, we took a long time to realize that democracy is a better form of state than others. So we know our bad histories. But since we realized this, we really appreciate the public discussion on which solution, which option is the better one. And therefore many parts of the German publicity are included in this discussion process. And we very we are very critical against such solution where some big enterprises promise things, and we ask for the long-term cost as well and for the long-term effects on the environment. And that was the reason, again, why Germany decided it was a broad consensus of 90% of the people that we want to get rid of nuclear power in the midterm.
The other speakers, do you have any other opinion or to add some words of the final?
No, I don't have any addition to Professor Gruehn. But if any one of you would like to know more about us, that we are here till tomorrow, and then there's another one from Secretariat sitting at the back there, so you'll introduce yourself. And I think you've got our magazines as well, so do contact us.
Thank you to the colleague here from the chief. It's very interesting you have said, your expenditure for the R&D activity from the government, 0.68, right? For example, from the gross domestic product.
Yes, as a ratio.
Okay. This is an question. Is there any, let's say, the industrial sector also spending on R&D activity already also calculated or not?
No, to be honest, no, this problem actually the industry there in Egypt is not sharing in this ratio so far, but they are planning doing that in the near future, according to our announcement from the government. But until this moment, their share is not that much. It's almost nil. So all this coming from the government.
Yeah. Question here. Why we are also impressed how the government spending for R&D. Question is if you learn from, let's say, the countries like European countries, all the spending for the R&D activities coming from the industrial, right? So this is also happened starting in Indonesia. We now collaborate with so many countries in the world, countries, who also invest in Indonesia doing R&D activity. For instance, we develop kind of the R&D Research Institute, collaborate with the Sweden. We initiate kind of the, let's say, Indonesia International Institute for Life Sciences, based in Indonesia. R&D activities in Indonesia based on our biodiversities in Indonesia. I think this is interesting because so many countries, the industries coming to our countries also to investing in R&D activities, but the principle not by let's say from supply tools. The initial R&D activities coming from the researchers or engineers, but coming from the industry itself. I think this is very interesting. Thank you very much.
Now we shall finish this session. I add one point on nuclear. Japanese people learned a lot, even under the unexpected tsunami damage. But one point is risk management, including decision making, especially the politician point. And second point is social innovation. How to make the balance between economy and social stability.
Yeah.
So we learned a lot from nuclear accident, how we could develop the practical science over applied science. So, fortunately, next General Assembly will be held outside, just outside. And next session tomorrow morning starts at 9 o'clock. And the last message from the organizers, ladies and gentlemen, we have an announcement for you. From now until 6, please be the high-tech fair held in the exhibition hall just across this conference room. After that, from 9, the welcome dinner will each serve in the Grand Hall